Today we are with Carolyn Akins with Carolyn Akins Real Estate, and we're doing Jenga with Jeremy, and we're starting out with a paperclip contest. So you go first.
And I happen to have grabbed one.
That had like 10 of them together?
Which is really a benefit. I know. Someone didn't.
I thought about cheating and putting it down there, but.
Well, I tried to also take
dumping the whole thing out's a new approach. We haven't had that one yet. I like that.
I tried to. I'm pretty competitive. I really want to win.
No.
You're going really fast.
Oh, yeah, it's a competition.
I know, but you've done this before. I would have practiced last night if I'd known.
Get your paper clips out?
Yeah. I could have.
How are you looking?
Plus.
Oh, you got two of them? Put them together.
I'm getting ready to. That was.
I didn't start a timer.
We'll just keep going.
Okay, so I need to know how.
We'll do these the whole time.
How much time do I have left?
You got 5 seconds.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well.
Combine those together.
Yep.
All right, let's see. Oh,
Man, and I even
got her.
Not gonna say I cheated, but I already had half of mine already.
Yeah.
I'm very slow at this.
All right, so I will go first because I want to ask you the questions. So we'll move the Jenga thing over here and get it rolling. So when's the last time you played Jenga? Have you ever played Jenga?
Shocked. Somewhat recently. I do like this game.
Oh boy. All right. So
now, do you have to answer questions?
You feel free to ask me questions if you'd like to know, but no one wants to hear about what I'm doing. It's about you. But yeah, feel free. All right. No question on that one, but I have questions for you.
Oh, some of them don't have questions?
Some of them don't. You go ahead and go, but I'm going to ask you a question. So how did you, because we just talked about this recently, how did you, hang on to that one. Why or how did you decide to do your own real estate company?
So I started with Village Real Estate back in the day. Loved it. Got a ton of experience. Worked on new construction, single family, condos. Was actually a new construction sales rep through them, so I learned a lot, which was very beneficial. And then I got pregnant with twins, and getting into the office was very hard. And then I decided, it's easier to be at home, and I'd formed enough relationships with a lot of agents there and other agents at other companies that I felt like I could do this from home. My broker said, "You're totally fine." So I started working from home and actually loved it. Moved my cubicle home, and then next thing you know, I'm pregnant with another one. And then I decided it was getting really big, and I really liked more of the smaller feel. And so I went with a smaller company, and then decided maybe that was not my fit. And so then I decided I probably had one more move in me, and decided I would just start my own. And
that's cool.
So,
you don't see many people do that. So it's cool.
It's funny, you start seeing more and more, a lot of them are doing more on the developer side, so then they have their own company. Mm-hmm. But most people do teams. So they are like part of a Keller Williams or something, and then they have a team. But just now, I have met other agents that I have really, really liked and really enjoyed working with, and thought this would be a good fit if they ever did want to change, and I've mentioned that. But with kids and work, it's enough of two full-time jobs.
Yeah, you're busy enough doing your
So
thing, much less managing other people.
correct. So
Got it.
But yeah.
What questions you get?
What's a common misconception about your Oh, there's a lot. One of the common misconceptions is, they think, oh, I can do this part-time.
Yeah.
Well, it's not part-time, and there are no regular business hours. So, if I have a client that we go see a home at 8 o'clock at night, and then they decide at 9:30 at night they want to write it up, we're up till 9:30, 10, 11. We work weekends and holidays. I've shown homes on Christmas Eve, and it's one of those, you jump when someone's ready to go, because you can't be the reason they didn't get what they wanted, or they missed something, or they missed a timeline. So I think that's the biggest misconception, that, oh, I can do it part-time, or I'll make my own schedule, because you don't make your schedule at all. You are just at the mercy of when everyone can meet, and that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
So I meet when my clients can meet, and if that's at 9 o'clock at night, then that's when we do our call, and everybody works, right? So you meet when they're not working.
Yeah.
Which is
after 5. No, I totally get it, and so you can put it back up there if you want. So I think people look at the numbers, and they look at the percentages that they think that people would make, and they think, I gotta sell a couple of houses and I can have a pretty good living,
Yeah.
And so people get into it thinking that, and then it doesn't turn out great for those people, because it's not that easy. or so I seem to think. No question on this one either. All right.
All right, we're getting a little lopsided over here. I'm gonna knock it out over. No, that's.
I'm going to ask you another question. I wrote down
Oh,
some.
go for it.
You have twins. I thought of this question, and I thought it would be a great one to ask. Which twin do you like better? I'm just kidding.
If you're watching, I love all three of my children the same.
I'm just kidding. We'll just go and see if you get one.
These are tight.
Go low.
I know. Well, I don't want to go too low. How many kids do you have?
We have 3.
What are their ages?
17, 16, and 11. You're good. You're clear.
17. No question.
All right. We'll keep rolling. Yes, so sophomore and junior at Ravenwood, and then a 5th grader at Crockett.
Where do you think your sophomore's going to go to
gosh.
college? I know they're tight.
I've always thought if we knock it over really early in this thing, we just redo it. So sophomore, I have no idea. He loves playing baseball, so he wants to play baseball somewhere. The junior daughter wants to play soccer somewhere, and so we're doing college visits for that now. So
Okay.
we'll see. So it's being based off of sports for them. The
Nothing
young
wrong with
one,
that.
I don't even know if she'll
Keep
go.
them
I
active.
don't know if she'll go to college. We'll see.
All right, so it's getting really. I need to come over here.
It's like they expanded with the heat.
I know, because usually you start getting some that
Yeah, they aren't moving real good, are they?
They're not moving. There's one.
Yeah. So you have 2 that are in 8th grade.
No
and then
question.
Oh my gosh, 2 in 8th grade, and what's the age?
Fifth grade. So
Fifth
I've got.
grade, okay.
I'm getting ready to do high school, which is going to be really hard on me, and then I'm going to do middle school, and there's no more lower school. And I like
growing
my
up.
peep. I know I don't like it.
I know. You want them to slow down, don't you? So if someone were to ask you, like, obviously there's a lot of real estate agents in Nashville. Oh my gosh, you're making me nervous. If someone were to say why to choose you, if someone's looking for a realtor, did I say insurance agents in Nashville? A lot of realtors in Nashville. I don't know what I said. Why would they choose you?
I have a complete love of what I do. And every time I meet, like, let's just say with a buyer, every time I meet with them, I'm not looking just to quickly get them in a house and quickly sell them the house just to hurry up and turn it around. Because the one thing I always tell them is, my plan is that you're going to love me and that whatever house we buy, I'm going to sell for you. So I'm not going to sell you something I can't sell later. So, besides renovation things like huge design flaws that are not going to be marketable later, because the whole goal is you want to be able to sell it in a good market and a bad market, so you're not buying something random like, well, we'll just take this house because there's nothing else left. But I truly want my clients to have the best house, and I'm very picky about houses. I'm going to point out tons of flaws, and I'll even tell people in advance, like, I'm not trying to be super negative, but I'm going to point out all the things that are really wrong with this.
Well, when people
to see if we can fix it.
Yeah, they romanticize it a little bit, and they get in there like, "Oh, I love this," and you're like,
But they're
look at
loving
this."
the couch that's in the room
right.
and how the whole room is put together.
No,
And
it's
like,
good that
hey,
you point that out. Yeah.
you move in and it's going to be empty. It's going to be an empty shell. But I truly, truly want the best for them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not looking to turn this around really fast. I'm the agent that's going to answer your phone call 2 years later when you need somebody to clean out your gutters. I'm the agent that's going to keep in touch with you, and I'm going to keep answering your call just like
Right.
you're my client right now.
Right.
And,
Awesome.
one of the other things too, everybody likes to feel valued and they like to feel heard. I think part psychologist, I'm going to talk to you about
There's no doubt.
all the things that they need to discuss and hash and rehash and rehash, and I'm going to be there for all of it. So this is not looking promising. They're really wedged in there.
Will the very bottom one work? Sometimes that bottom one, like the middle one,
Ah,
it's a trick one.
no.
No question. I asked more questions then. I put that on for you. Look at that. What if
Well,
I
I
knocked
have
it
a
over?
question.
You have a question?
Did your granddad start Hold Insurance?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, my grandfather started in 1946. Coming back from the war, trying to find a business to get into Nashville area that was more recession-proof, something that was a good, solid business.
Yeah.
And insurance is a great business model to it. Our dad started working here in like 1971. out of straight out of college. Came and worked with us, and we were in the Melrose area forever.
Okay.
And then, so from 1971 to like 2015, he worked here. My mom worked here for a little bit, actually probably 10 or 15 years. And so he retired, 9 years ago, something like that. So now it's my brother, my sister, and I, and my wife helps a little bit.
Nice.
So, family affair. Oh, I didn't ask you a question. What's your favorite restaurant in Nashville? Oof. Or what's a good one you've been to recently? Something I should try out.
So, I love Mexican food.
Oh, so
So I'm always. So you have to have queso.
yeah.
Like no, some
Do you-
don't.
so what's your
Some of them
go-to?
are a little too fancy, and I've gone.
So
and
you got to
like,
go a little bit. Yeah, I got you.
So
What's
they're like,
so
"Oh, we
what's
don't
your
have
go-to
queso."
for?
Sopapillas.
Oh, really?
It's my favorite.
Okay.
It's my favorite. What's your favorite restaurant?
My favorite restaurant, probably Urban Grub, but I mean I don't go there a lot. But I love all Mexican food. It doesn't really matter. People are always like, "Oh, this one's the best," and I'm like, "They're all good to me." I don't know.
Oh no, I rate them by the queso. Question.
How do you keep picking no
I
questions?
don't know.
All right, you got to put it back on top.
Oh yeah.
Because I knocked one. I lost a game like that one time.
This is like the Marsha Brady episode where she's got the dangles coming off and they're doing the House of Cards and
I
her
don't-
charm bracelet's about to knock them all over.
What do you have any idea what my record is in Jenga? I've played 7 games so far.
This one's looking a little shaky. We're balancing this whole thing on 1 at the bottom.
We're good. We're all right. Just gotta find the right one, huh? Let's see. Any questions? Oh, got one. So this is a 2-parter because I want to ask you a question. Who is your favorite person you ever been in a networking group with?
Ooh.
I'm just kidding. It's supposed to be me. I was in a networking group with you. I'm just kidding. The question is,
Thanks.
yeah, we actually started, I guess we were both new to our businesses, right? Almost 20 years ago.
Do you know, I thought about that the other day.
Yeah.
That was a million years ago.
I know. It
that
was
we did
20
that.
years ago. It was, 19 years, whatever, since we
was a long
both
time
we were both
ago.
getting started. Us and Raymer and Andrew Alford, right?
Uh-huh.
He's a client
And Julie
still.
Couch was
Julie
in there
Couch.
with us.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's right. Good group. There's probably some interesting people in there that would be fun to read.
It would be fun to go back because like Kevin with his cat, I mean, they're blowing and going. Like,
Really?
Uh-huh. They're doing great.
It's crazy. All right, what's a new skill or area you want to explore? Something that, it can be personally, like anything you're into, like besides getting real big in social media, what area do you want to explore?
That's it.
That can be your answer if you want to be your answer.
I think I want to be my answer. I need to figure out how to get into. My love of helping people only takes you so far because I need a presence that when they Google or they go and I need to just rip off the Band-Aid and start trying to get more involved in social media and trying to figure out the components of what works and what doesn't and what drives good content and what brings followers and people to click and to look at. I think that would probably be my.
Yeah, and it's like, as silly as it sometimes seems, like your warmth and character comes out when you speak and people see like your mannerisms. This is you personally, I think. And so, I mean, in general it happens, but some people don't do it as well as others. But, you see a picture and obviously you can say, oh, she looks nice, whatever, but you see them and you're like, oh, she really is. Like, you can tell like that you really mean what you say. And I think that people get that more when you're able to speak about that and like in a social media standpoint. So I think it'll serve you really well.
Thank you. That
Yeah.
was very kind. I need to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And I need to just jump in and maybe.
That's what we're doing.
Yes.
We're doing Jenga.
It's
We're
my
jumping
first
right
video.
in. Yeah.
Video number 1.
All right. So good luck. Let's see what happens.
Oh, is it my turn?
It's your turn.
I was on House Hunters twice.
I think I
So I did
knew
do that, but that was a long time ago.
That's cool.
I don't even know if the show's still on.
You obviously had no questions.
I don't
I got
know.
more questions. Or put it on top so in
Oh,
case.
yeah.
All right. So a personal question, and this is just on my brain right now. But what is the best trip or vacation you've ever taken? Well, I try not to knock this over. You think about it.
We,
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, that's tough. So I will tell you what my kids would say.
All right.
They would say, we went to Turks and Caicos one year. It was years ago, but they loved the aspect of walking up and asking for food, asking for
Like
a smoothie, and
all-inclusive?
never having to pay.
Yeah, you're like, this is great.
I know.
This is the way to go.
And every time
you're like, it costs us, trust us.
I know, like,
Yeah.
and they're like, it's all free. I'm like,
Ish, yeah.
eat up, because we paid for it on the front end. But every time we couldn't find my son, and he was little, he'd be at the swim up bar with a smoothie. It was pretty good. They like the freedom of just going in. I would like that. Thank
Yeah.
you. And just made them feel like adults.
I found my
which-
way up to the swim bar last all-inclusive I went to as well, which is not the same type of swim bar.
I
as this
know.
one.
You weren't sipping on your
No,
smoothies.
and so I paid the price.
All right, is it my turn?
It's your turn. We're getting down there.
It's getting bald over here. We need to go. But see, that's the one I'm just going to kind of try to wedge it out.
I like it. It's a moment of truth, maybe.
Oh, it's not going down. No question.
Nice. I like it. Just wedge it out. That's the key. All right. So, what is your favorite book or a book you read recently that you really like?
So my son would throw me under the bus and say, I was reading a book the other day. He's like, Mom, don't ever see you read. I'm like, oh, great. Okay, so I'm reading a book right now that a friend of mine recommended because I have got an 11-year-old boy. He's wonderful, but boys are very different. I didn't grow up with a brother. My sister didn't have boys. My husband's sister didn't have boys. Like, nobody had boys.
I got a boy. I understand.
And I was like, what is happening? I mean, he was always lovey-dovey, and now he's kind of pulling back some. And it's a book called Wild Things. And I read it, and I was sobbing. I was like, this explains everything. Like, now I feel like I'm not on an
Was
island.
Nick like, just leave him alone?
I know. He's like, because it just talks about how it divides boys up into stages, which makes you feel better because when you're a mom, you know, your boys.
Oh, yeah.
You grow up and your son wants to marry. Like, that's your relationship. And I heard someone the other day say, having a boy is just the slowest breakup on the planet. Like, it just starts and you just wait for them to break up with you. But it allowed me to, Dave Thomas wrote it. It allowed me to see what stage he was in and go, yes, yes. Like, this is it. Like, this is why he's doing this. And it tells about how boys are wired and how they're thinking and how moms especially need to forget about being a mom, about how moms talk too much and they tune us out. And and he said, you know, it's even in their brain. Like, you will be talking to them and you'll say, you're not even listening, and they really don't hear you. And he said that's why women are so good with multitasking, because they have different receptors. And anyway, it is making me feel okay about him and trying to figure out. And so I'm waiting. So
Wild Things?
Wild Thing. It's fantastic.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
It's already too late for me. My son's 16.
Actually,
so
no, it's not.
Whatever. Too late to
Because
turn back.
Then they have a
And
phase.
Keith should put it's Keith's son's birthday today.
You tell your wife to get the book, because then they have the Wanderer phase, which is like at the end of, like, I think 18 to 22. So it
Wanderer
takes you.
phase.
So it starts with, like, you know, the lover, where they're just like, and that's why they said you'll meet women who've taught kindergarten, first and second grade for like 30 years, and then people who teach middle school are like 10, because they want to please. They're just soaking it all up, and how boys learn so differently, which I think is super interesting. That I wish the teachers would read, because they're all wanting the boys to sit in class like this, like the little girls.
Right.
And they need to be up and do, and they're not wired the same, but we're teaching them all the same. Mm-hmm. So it's a phenomenal book, and you can read all about boys and then find your son's, where he is with the age.
He is kind of normal.
That's the book every mom should buy.
All right. It's your turn. Good luck.
So if I don't find, well, no, those are repeaters.
I don't know we don't know what the rule is on that. I mean, whatever.
I guess you just can keep going, but am I like one of the main ones who've never gotten questions?
Make it interesting. Well, we mixed it in where
They all had questions. I know you have not gotten. You've gotten like one question.
What's the best book you've read?
Oh, I don't know. I'm like.
What's the best book you've listened to on or a podcast? How about that?
I was gonna ask you. That's my next question. I was gonna
Was
ask you. Yeah. So I've gotten into podcast let's see. I like well. It goes the same. It's the book that I read recently too. It's called The Magic of Surrender, and so I've gotten big into. I don't even know, like the personal growth type books and stuff, and
That's good.
they just hit me right. I don't know, and so I've gone through a phase where I've like started to do meditation and started to like try to find this whole like different spiritual side to myself, and so that's what's hit me recently. And so the guy who wrote it is Coot Blackson, and he has a podcast. I listen to his podcast. It's all things positive. It's all things love. It's all just nice, easy stuff for these days. Everything's so heavy and negative, and so everything in that space is positive. But him, and then there's like this guy called Joe Dispenza who has like he does workshops, and they're all like the spiritual type stuff, which a lot of people are like, oh my god, weirdos. But for me, it's like oh my god, this is like, it makes sense in my brain these days. I was not there several years ago, but that's where I am these days. So that's me. What about podcasts for you?
So you're gonna laugh.
You gotta put that back up because it's gonna. You may. Let's see if you put it in the wrong spot.
So you're gonna laugh at the podcast
I'm not gonna laugh.
recently. And no, you will.
I will.
Yeah. So
Mr. Rogers.
No. About a year and a half ago, I told my daughters about this show called One Tree Hill, which I watched. Oh, it's one of my favorites. Watched it. They fell in love with it. All their friends started watching it, so it was really cool because we all got to do it together. And so I was watching it with them and their friends, and they wanted me around. I was like, score.
When was One Tree Hill on?
It was like
90s, or is it
it
after
was
that?
Early 2000s.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
So I remember watching it, especially outside of college, but I watched it. So we started watching it, and their friends would even text me, like, what episode are you got? Like, wait for it. It was really fun because they would say, Mom, come down. Like, they would have friends spend the night. I was like,
you're like, yes.
I know. So
did you play off some? You'd be like, I guess so.
They have a podcast with the 3 female leads, the 3 girls from the show, and it's so cute. Like, I love it. And they talk about the show and life. Yeah. Yes, it's just easy. But then we all need. A friend of mine's now doing podcasts, and she then sent me the link because she interviewed the guy who wrote Wild Things, and so I listened to that one the other day.
That's cool.
It's really good.
That is really cool. All right, it's your turn, and it's gotten tricky here.
But I'm like you. There's a lot of just heavy and negative, and I don't think we can keep doing. Well, there's no rule. There's a lot of heavy and negative. It's just fun to hear something. Ooh, that one's going back. I like lighthearted.
So where do you think future of real estate, where do you see it? Do you see it just keep trucking along how it is? Any major changes coming? What do you think?
Well, I do think real estate, no matter, it's not commercial, right? So commercial's a little bit more, it's just matter of fact, right? You're just, as long as humans want to raise a family and create a life somewhere, I think it's always going to have that personal touch. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it'll ever go all online, or I think you will always have someone helping you, guide you through. Nope.
You can leave it there if you want. Okay.
Guiding you through the process. So they've made it easier just online, being able to find things, which is really nice. But I think that human component that.
Has that whole world slowed down some, where you felt like, I feel like maybe 5-10 years ago, it was the threat of the online, real estate world kind of taking over or slowing things down. Has that kind of like gone to like slow down a little bit?
I don't think it'll ever take it over. Because again, it's too much of a personal.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
process.
People want you to show up and help them.
Oh yeah, and they want
look at houses and stuff.
Figure out where their kids are going to put their swing set and their.
No question again?
No.
What in the world? Are there questions in here? All right.
So am I like leading for the longest Jenga game yet?
You're doing really well. I don't know. This has gone good. It was for how we started. We started we're having a hard time.
So who came up with the Jenga game? With the idea?
Keith had the idea. We started out with doing we did a competition. I'm not sure that's going to come.
No question.
We did it. No question. We did a competition. We did one of these. The idea was to be doing something as you talk to people. Just because it's when you just interview or just talk to somebody, it just gets kind of stale or awkward at times, or whatever. So it's like when you're doing this, you're doing something,
It's a
you
good
take
yeah.
some of that uneasiness out of the way. But we started out with Lego, like building Legos, the two of us. It was me and Nick that works with us. And, my bald head was down the whole time, and it took a long time. And so then we just came up with,
It's a good idea.
something that was a little bit different that we could talk through and make questions to. So we are. What? How'd you sneak that one out? That was smooth. What is your, so if someone were to say, like, who is your ideal client? Like, who are you, who's good for you to work with? Who are you good for? Like, who's your ideal client? Right.
One of the things I love.
Maybe you say niche, like, is there somewhere where something that
Well,
you really do well in?
Well, maybe not. Well, I feel like I do well in this, but like a first-time home buyer, because they've never been tainted by anything in the process yet. So I can be, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I had this realtor so-and-so and they didn't. I love taking someone brand new who we can literally start the whole process and I can tell them everything we've got to do.
Yeah.
And they're always so grateful and they're, thank you so much. But then it's fun to then take those people to their next house. And then what they've learned and what they take, and then to their third house. Because, a lot of people there was a day we started with condos. And then you move to like a starter home, and then your kids like, no, we got to go to school zones, and then your final home. But it's fun taking people, especially when you start out with first-time home buyers, and then taking them through the process of finishing out. Because usually, if they love you on the front end, they're not going to find anybody else.
Have first-time home buyers, like the age of the first-time home buyer, has it increased? I'm assuming yes, because everything's so much more expensive. But like before, it was maybe 22 to 24-year-olds. Is it now 28 to 30-year-olds that are first-time home buyers? Do you notice that, or is it?
You know what's funny?
Tell?
I don't usually ever really know the age of my clients because I don't ever ask them. But if you're
true.
taking school-wise, a lot of them aren't coming out of school and buying homes. One, student debt, and a lot of them are living at home now.
It's so expensive.
So that took that component out. So I know some of my first-time home buyers recently have had kids.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you start having kids kind of soon, and then, you've got school debt or medical school debt, and then it's just, and it's tough finding a first-time home buyer market too,
Yeah.
because the prices have gotten so high.
Yeah.
Now the interest rates have gotten high, which it's nice if maybe one's a little older and then they've been working for a little bit or.
All right, we're down to it now. If you pull another one out like you just did, I'll be really impressed. Last one was
prepare
impressive.
yourself. Okay, so who is your
on.
ideal client for
Why do you keep doing
insurance?
that to me? I mean, ideal client. I mean, we're the same, and we. I know. Don't rub it in. Ideal client for us is families. I mean, families in this area, and we do. It's for us. It's nice to have somebody who wants our help. So much of insurance people have found to be just transactional, and it's just it's nice when somebody's like, we want you to give us advice and talk to us every year, and it's more than just somebody just looking for a good price.
Do you feel like all the online companies, like, I don't know, one with a lizard in it, do you feel like they have hurt you guys because it takes it more just to you get some random person on the phone, you fill out paperwork,
Yeah,
and you've got insurance?
I don't know if it
does
hurt.
it make you all even better because you're completely
Yeah, I mean,
different?
we're trying to be different from them because we can't compete with, like, if you're talking about just somebody who's wanting the cheapest auto policy, that isn't necessarily the best client for us.
Right.
Because we want somebody that is, I mean, you're always being price sensitive, but make it, also kind of like look at the whole package and what we're able to offer that for them. Geico's great for 20-somethings, like single, like they're almost impossible to beat. Geico, Progressive,
Yeah.
Those type. But once they buy a house and they need an umbrella and they've got kids, they've got other things they need people to advise them on. And when you call Geico, they're just gonna, or you can do it yourself online. And the people that we see that did online quotes, they're missing a lot of stuff usually. You're like, why didn't you choose that? Oh, I said I didn't have to. Like, you might want that.
I know, but
like
they
if
had
you
no
get hit by
guidance,
someone-
right?
Right. Yeah. So that's what it is. And we're not for everybody. I think it's the same thing. Like, some people might be better off going online and getting somebody that's gonna charge them $500 to help them find a house. But it's going to probably not be the same experience as what you'd offer.
Well, and again, with what you're doing and with what I'm doing, it's all relationship based, right? So
Right.
the better of a relationship you have, then you have repeat clients, you have referrals, you have word of mouth. I think the relationship component.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for example, they may get a better deal at Geico, but when you need help, don't you want to call the guy who's going to step
Right.
up and, like, that's worth something.
Right. I agree too, but not everyone agrees.
Well-
And that's fine.
Well, but I
They
do
go
think
somewhere
that's
else.
something you learn too as you get older. You do want a relationship component.
It's a little wobbly up there.
Is there a
I'm taking away your top ones there.
Pressure's on. No question. We're about out of all my questions I had written down. Can you think of a situation where, and you've already talked about some of this, but where you've really like maybe had a challenging situation for a client and you were able to really help them out? Can you think of a situation, anything come to mind that you've worked on recently or in the past? Or is that a really vague question?
I've got one. Like, to me, this was a big one. But this, again, goes to relate. So my goal when I do a transaction is to have a good relationship with the other agent, too.
Mm-hmm.
One, you meet them again, they circle back around. You know, some agents you deal with, it's like they just want to fight.
It's competition, right? That's what I see it.
But it's not
There's
like
plenty of
there's
stuff
one
out there,
finish
yeah.
line that like on the, let's say I've got the buyer and they've got the list side. Like, we're all going towards the same goal. It's a finish line. But they want to make it hard and difficult and not answer their phone and kind of give that rub. Like, we're all on the same team here. Like, we're all going for one goal. So when you do have that kind of a relationship with the other agent, A, you want to work with them again. B, if it's multiple offers and you know that, you can tell your client, like, that one's good. That agent's really going to help us get over some hurdles if we have them. But I had one, I won't say who it is. She was wonderful. My client bought a house that her clients completely gutted and renovated. And unbeknownst to us and the inspector, because these were things obviously you wouldn't know until the rains came. Like, once the rain came, this whole section flooded, was not in a flood zone. The whole section flooded. Somehow when they did the renovation, I think a French drain. Anyway, I called her because it was probably 6 months later. The people that did the reno came out, met my client, met us. We talked to them. We went through everything, and they're like, "We've got this. This is ultimately falls back on us." And I thought, again, it's the relationship. I had a good relationship with the agent. People stood behind the job they did.
You wouldn't have found the contractor, and yeah.
But we were all able, and had I been a real jerk, she wouldn't have wanted to help me. So it's all about being nice, and because you can be nice and negotiate. I think a lot of people have the misconception that you have to have this bulldog mentality to negotiate what's best for your client. And sometimes, I mean, if I need to, I can, but a lot of times you can get what you want when you're kind to people.
Yeah.
Like, you can get what you need to get
Yeah.
to benefit your clients and what's best for them. But her clients were standing by it. She and I had developed a good relationship because we weren't trying to fight. Common goal. They stepped up. He came. He was thrilled. He was like, "Thank you." I mean, they took care of everything.
Yeah, that's a
Paid
big
for all
deal.
the work and everything.
Yeah, that's not what you want. This is a brand new house with a bunch of issues. This is pretty good. You've done a good job.
This took two. So
You know.
I think we're pushing it. But I'm going
Top's
to try to
gotten
do.
a little wobbly there. I mean, it's
No,
like a little bit.
But if that's one I put in, there's no question.
Oh no!
Now,
Ask all the questions you want.
that was good.
That was very good.
That was good.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
So I guess we'll end with what's the best way for people to track you down, to find you? Like if they want to call you and get you to help them out.
So my website is just my name, CarolynAkins.com, and my phone number's in there. And if they call or text me, they will get an answer. I may have shot myself in the foot because I answer the phone very late and I text very late. So anytime, call me and I'll make it happen.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having
awesome.
me. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, that was a really good game.
That was a good game.